Okay, so you will ask with an introduction, a broad topic. So the general rule is start with something very, very broad. So how much television do you watch during a week? People will say like, well, yeah, every day. Then you will ask like, okay, so how about news? Like what kind of program do you watch? Yeah, something like we just watched here, the regional TV station of City A. They will tell you, well, I watch that sometimes, my husband likes it, and stuff like that. And of course, during the whole process of the discussion, you will get into very, very detailed. So at the end, you will talk about the fact if the presenter should be right or left-handed. It is a really, like, you start with something very general and go very specific. So you should not be suggestive. Let's say we have the discussion, and I'm the moderator, and I say, that was a good program, right? You know, probably people will say, yeah, sure, you know, like basically no one's that critical, you know, to strangers, and you have these certain social situations as well. So try to have open questions. Always like, how did you like the program? Then let people talk. Don't be afraid of silence. You know, I usually do, like, let's say we're in a focus group and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people sitting. I start with you. So how was the program? And then you describe, well, I really liked that. Then I ask, so what didn't you like? Well, everything was perfect. So I would say, okay, so we don't need to change anything. And then she will probably say, well, yeah, kind of the studio looks kind of old. And then you take a note, or you have someone take notes, and you discuss likes and dislikes and go through this, and you will already have a lot of information just by asking the really simple question, how was the program? I just said that. So you need open questions. You said age, for instance, like age groups. So should it be between 18 and 35? But maybe that's not really helpful, because you could ask, so what about, like, what is important? And they say, well, yeah, I should kind of not be an old guy. And then you're like, okay, so what is old? And they say something over 50. So like 55? 60? And they're like, yeah, that's old. So then you ask, oh, okay, so we can put in 20-year-old. Provoke people. So 20-year-old presenter. And they would be like, nah, should be like middle age. So we trust him. Like, what's a trustworthy age? I'm 33, I don't think. Well, something end of 30s. Older than I am. So you need to have open questions. And in case people look at you and they are like, I don't know, you can suggest stuff. Of course, you can sit there and say like, yeah, age, let's say 20, 25, what's the issue? You can ask like categories of questions, but maybe you should like let people talk first, because you won't know. And now we combine it with what you said, because because when you only have 3 options, I mean, you can't get like the BBC correspondent to City A in a tiny country somewhere for a salary that he wouldn't go there for. So maybe you ask already like, so let's say, show them pictures. Ask them openly, and so how about this one, or this guy, or you? You know, show them like the pictures in the studio, not skiing, because that's not the context in which they would see the person. It should be like in the studio. Okay, so that's why I gave you a hard time. Never be satisfied with a yes and no. Because when you come home with a yes and no, people will be like, okay, yeah, so what should I do? Like, even when you come home with really good results and people say, this is the best show I've ever seen, editors will be like, yeah, but you know, we need to find out more about this. So never be satisfied with that. So introduce a nice atmosphere, as I said. It's totally okay to be funny, but not too funny. Structure, start with general stuff, get into detail. And you said that you should create a structure, like a certain topics. Beforehand, when you sit there with your colleagues and your editors, your grumpy boss in the corner, decide you want to talk about the presenter, you want to talk about marketing, you want to talk about